Hey guys, welcome to my Dragon's Roar deck profile. I initially only intended to put decks made of 3 of a given structure deck put together as shorts only. But when I tried to do the Trap Tricks and Fallen and Virtuous decks, I kept fudging up some of the names in the extra deck. So I've decided from now on to do long form videos instead. Now I do understand that some of you will say, how is putting 3 structure decks together a deck profile? And that is a fair question, but I don't know what else to call them. So I'm sticking with it. Now let's get into the deck. Starting with the vanillas, I'm running 3 Luster Dragon and 1 Red Eyes Black Dragon. Now with the structure deck proxies, of which there will be many, I wanted to use the cards as they appeared when the decks were released at the time, hence Red Eyes having the previously abbreviated B. These are just beaters, and while I would want to lean into the Darkness Dragon side of the deck, that risks making it too bricky. So as much as I love my boy, I'm only running the 1. For the Pringles, I'm running 3 Armed Dragon level 3 and 3 Armed Dragon level 5. Level 3 can be sent from your face-up field to the graveyard during your standby phase to summon level 5 from hand or deck. Level 5 lets you send a monster from hand to graveyard to destroy an opponent's monster with equal or less attack. And if level 5 destroys something in battle, you can send it to the graveyard during the end phase to summon Armed Dragon level 7 from hand or deck. But since level 7 isn't in the structure deck, that effect is irrelevant. This is the better of the 2 strategies, as level 5 can actually impact the field. You will definitely have trouble getting it off at times, as the highest attack monsters available that you can ditch cap at 2400. But if you use the power up the deck leaflets that the early structure decks came with, that could be worked around. Next, I'm running 3 Masked Dragon. When it's sent to the graveyard by battle, you can summon a 1500 or less attack dragon from your deck. One of the type recruiters, and better than the attribute ones since this can summon in defense. Next, I'm running 3 Element Dragon. The Element monsters each have 2 effects. One or both can be used depending on what attributes are on the field. For Element Dragon, it gains 500 attack if there's a fire monster on the field. The boost unfortunately does not stack if there's multiple fires. And if there's a wind monster, it can double attack BLS style. I've often thought how one could build a deck around the Element monsters. Ritual Doriada would definitely be an inclusion since she counts as all 4 elemental attributes. I wonder if anyone's tried it. Next, I'm running 1 Red Eyes Black Chick. This was long before it got its rename to Black Dragon's Chick. You can send it from your face-up field to the graveyard to summon a Red Eyes Black Dragon from hand. Since Knight of Dark Dragon was never made, and Paladin of Dark Dragon wasn't released for eons, this was one of the only ways to cheat a Red Eyes onto the field. I've always wondered why Chick sends to graveyard while Kaibaman tributes. Why not just make them the same? Next, I'm running 1 Red Eyes Darkness Dragon. It can only be summoned from hand by tributing a Red Eyes Black Dragon and gains 300 attack for every dragon in your graveyard. It's overall weaker than Shining Dragon, lacks any form of protection, and is not easily searched, but it is substantially easier to summon, and I'd say I like its aesthetics a lot more. The final monster is 1 Twin-Headed Behemoth. If it's destroyed on the field and sent to the graveyard, it can be revived during the end phase with its attack and defense sets to 1000, but it's only once per duel, and from what I understand, it needed several erratas to help people understand that. It's also pretty good in Cyberdarks since it does not care where it is on the field when it's destroyed. Moving to the spells, I'm running 3 Stamping Destruction. You have to have a dragon on the field to activate it, then you pop a spell or trap, then burn that card's controller for 500. It's a slower, more restrictive MST, but most people won't say no to back row removal unless it's really garbage. Speaking of which, next I'm running 3 MST. Pop a spell or trap at quick play speed. This card needs no introduction, and it's kinda nice that there's now an archetype centered around it. Next, I'm running 3 Swords of Revealing Light. It flips up said opponent's monsters and prevents the opponents from attacking for 3 of their turns. Another iconic card, and one of the earliest stall cards. Next, I'm running 1 Reload. You add your hands to deck, shuffle, then draw however many cards you added. There are a few high-level monsters in the deck, and bricking on them would not be nice, so this can help reset your hand. Next, I'm running 1 Snatch Steal. You equip it to an opponent's monster and permanently take control of it at the cost of your opponents gaining 1000 life points during their standby phases. This has been at both banned and 1 for the longest time, but with the latest ban list, it'll now be at 3, so I may bump the numbers up at some point. Moving to the traps, I'm running 3 Call of the Haunted. You revive a monster in attack, but if it leaves the field, Haunted is destroyed, or if Haunted is destroyed, so is the monster. This was one of the prime revival cards when Reborn was limited and banned. It's not great nowadays being a slow trap, but it is generic, so if your deck likes revival, you could play a couple of copies. Next, I'm running 3 Reckless Greed. You draw 2, then skip your next 2 draw phases. And a fun little fact that most people already know about, the draw effect stacks, but the draw phase skip does not. So you always want to activate 2 or 3 of these simultaneously. You draw 4 or 6 cards, but still only skip 2 draw phases. Next, I'm running 3 Trap Jammer. It negates and destroys a trap, but only during the battle phase. A bit odd they didn't put in 7 Tools of the Bandit. It does have a life point cost, but it accomplishes the same goal. Next, I'm running 1 the Dragon Speed. You can discard a card to negate any trap that targets a dragon. It effectively gives Tyrant Dragons targeting protection as long as you have cards to discard. It's not blanket protection, but it's something. The final trap is Dragon's Rage. It gives all your dragons piercing. Pair this with a boosted Darkness Dragon and you could cause some serious damage. And that's it for the deck. This was the first structure deck I ever owned, and I'm really disappointed I didn't keep the whole thing. If getting hold of the older ones was easier, I wouldn't have to use proxies, but they are basically collector's items at this point. I am going to try to cover as many structure decks as possible, but I won't be including decks that are older versions of later ones. So, for example, not the Gates of the Dark World structure deck, as it's just an older version of the later released Dark World deck. As always, please rate, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on X, consider backing me on Patreon, and remember to stay chilled.